Hey people, into tier 3v3 Argus Desert Gates blue team. We've got Dark Riku plays and Inquisitor, offensive commander, lots of great control abilities with a bit of support too. Begins in a melee combat but can get ranged weapons alongside a couple of Tyranids. First up is Floid as a big stompy Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Some awesome offense, disruption and support. And rounding off the teams is the Ravener Alpha of Noisy, a tunneling commander with some decent offense, a little bit of support too. Begins in range combat with some great mobility. Red team, we've got Angry Bird as a Techmarine, starts off range combat, puts out some good damage, can also support with structures and repair, taking cover there behind the heavy cover of those tank traps. Alongside is Yaay as a Warlock, melee commander that leaps into combat, some awesome disruption and mobility, but can also tank damage, deal damage and support a little bit too. A versatile Eldar. And rounding off the teams is GiDDoLo as a Grey Knight Brother Captain, durable commander that walks through objects and cannot be suppressed. So very good offense and support fights in melee combat. He's up against Imperial Guard of Riku on the west side, that solo lane as it's called, very resource focused with two natural powers, contested power and some wrecks as well. Meanwhile east side, red team pushing through against Noisy. It's Floid who's arriving late and he's going to try and support, try and do something, but he might get caught in retreat by some Howley Banshees here. Hormagaunt's able to finish that cap. Hive Tyrant leading a charge. Double Termagants cannot use their Cryptin Poison. They don't have the Toxin Sacks, so they are just backing off here. Turn to fire. Hormagaunt's in there now. The Banshees in a little bit of trouble and they do retreat out. Being cautious there. Could have gone for some model losses before he retreated out, but he gets his Banshees out of there without losing a model. And Floyd doing pretty good here, and Noisy able to push back using these tunnels for mobility. Hormagaunts and Spore Mines pushing forward. Looks like blue team are going to turn this around after I thought the red team were going to dominate early on in first engagement, but they don't. Just a scout still in play and they will be forced off. Hormagaunts going down to 3 models there. Generators going off from Angry Bird. Not generally what something you want to do just as you've been forced off. Noisy wants to steal them, it seems. Sentinel for Dark Riku shooting at the strike squad of GiDDoLo. He's got a Rhino on the way. Warrior Brood already up for Noisy. Must be in a tunnel somewhere. There they are. Heavy infantry with power melee weapons that leap into combat. 18 DPS I believe power melee for each model, which is not bad at all considering they give you synapse and they disrupt really well passively. Shuriken Cannon on the field for Yaay. Howling Banshees can try and wade into combat while stuff is suppressed. Don't actually have one of their aspects yet, so they can't use their War Shout. Dire Avengers get an aspect of their own. Howling Banshees yet to get one. And we do have a Barbed Strangler for Noisy. Lost one of his Termagants. That Barbed Strangler is a fantastic weapon. And look at that instant suppression on anything it hits. And decent damage too, but they are forced off again. A bit too close, a bit too over equal with his warriors there. Meanwhile, west side, Riku has GiDDoLo pushed back near his power. Has the contested power locked up with a node, and it's the Rhino on the field with that pintle mounted Stormbolter on the front, leading the line, soaking up damage, allowing the Stormtroopers to deliver that burst with those hotshot lasguns. Strike squad need to get a little bit closer, I think. He's afraid of that multi-laser turret whittling down his Stormtroopers, I believe. He might go mid. Meanwhile, east side, really good push by the red team. The Warlock has his Immolator. You can actually tell because his sword is on fire and has the flame icon. There is the Immolate. Wow, look at the damage to the Termagants. They managed to stay in play, just walk out of it. He might want to put a Brood Nest up when he can. He needs more red though. It's 100 red to use it. Oh, Devastator's on the field. Can suppress those warriors, stop them from getting close, but Noisy splitting his army, able to get his Ravener Alpha in behind, can now tie it up in melee combat, but vengeance rounds coming in and a cheeky grenade from some Dire Avengers. The Ravener Alpha gets caught and is forced off. And look at this, Angry Bird sometimes does this on Argus Desert Gate. He puts a turret here, very annoying to fight against. Sometimes he puts it in a much more forward position against his enemy. We'll see how those double Tyranids can deal with this. They can struggle with turrets and static defenses in tier 1. Can try and get your commander in there, can try and jump Raveners in there, or as is often the case, just try and split your army and flank off and give the turret too many targets to shoot at and try and get in that way. But in that position, it can be a bit annoying to say the least. The good way is just to ignore it, because as you can see, it's not covering the VP. You can just flank around, steal bash power at your leisure. Just ignore it until tier 2. Get some Tyrant guard up and go in there. Stormtroopers shooting up the heavy weapon. There's a stomp. GiDDoLo spots it early and gets out. Holy Brazier on the Inquisitor. Power melee weapon with the Holy Fire ability. What's going on east side? Scouts in retreat, they should be fine though. Devastator's pushing up. Gonna shoot up that tunnel. Gives them some XP and some red. Stops the mobility of the Ravener Alpha. Hive Tyrant does have the improved synapse, so he's improving the health of all of those non-synapse friendly Tyranids around, including Noisy's 25% health buff, I believe it is, in a range of 32, which is the same range as basic synapse. Awesome mechanic for Tyranids and team games, in that you can share the synapse that your ally is providing, even this specialized synapse. I have Tyrant getting himself into trouble, trying to find a way around a shuriken. He might go down, and does go down. You see the synapse backlash doing, I believe it's 10% health damage and a knockback, or it might be 18. I believe it's 10 now. Devastator's moving up. Angry Bird using them well, keeping them mobile. A lot of players, especially newer players, will get a setup team and just sit them in the same place. You've got to keep them moving, got to keep your opponent guessing. You don't want them to know where your setup team is, so they can counter it much easier. Raveners forced off there. They do have their Devourers, 400, 454. That Barb Strangler doing work to the Dire Avengers. They do retreat out there, but of course they are just retreating back to the beacon, so not a very long retreat for them. Awesome field presence, especially since it comes out in tier 1. You can get that field presence, win engagements, and bash power in tier 1, and the game can be over quickly with a nicely placed beacon. Raveners are going to burrow strike on the shuriken. As you can see, Floid has 2 Raveners, so if they get some ranged synapse up with the synapse aura for damage on the Raven Alpha, that's going to be a lot of shooty piercing damage. A Destructor on those Terminus was pretty nasty. No sign. Oh, we have a brood nest back here actually. Gives you some field presence also, but you can't retreat back to it, so it's not quite as good as a beacon. Only costs 100 red, of course, but it's a lot easier to take down. That multi-laser turret is still up. The Rhino now has vehicle armor though, so it can push in with impunity. He's gone for the heavy bolter turret on top. Good piercing damage, especially alongside the pinto-mounted storm bolter. I believe that storm bolter is like 25 DPS piercing, which is pretty good. That's almost like 2 tactical marines. Then you got that twinning heavy bolter as well. Not sure how much damage that's doing, but more than that. So altogether, a good fair chunk of piercing damage. Here comes a Bane Wolf. Dark Riku dropping it on this east side. Really fantastic early vehicle. He's going to use it to just completely dissolve these defenses, but that is Banshees on rear armor with the Executioner Spear. Might take it down here. Down goes the turret, but the Bane Wolf is going to go down. I'm not sure that was worth it to get the turret and lose the Bane Wolf. Banshees doing a lot of damage on rear armor there. All those power melee attacks adding up with the Executioner Spear. Big push now against the beacon, trying to take it down, overextending I think massively. Floyd with a big mistake, getting way too close. Raveners caught in a special attack animation, but they do just about get away. The Warlock also gets away. Noisy hanging back, and yeah, Riku bemoaning how long it took the Bane Wolf to rotate its turret against the Techmarine's turret. They had to start firing on it. 266, 454. Tyrant guard on the way for Noisy. Floyd with a late tier 2 because he got those double Raveners and improved synapse and warp field, not to mention double toxin sacks and adrenal glands. Wow, spent a lot of power in tier 1 and double Devourers, I believe. Yes, good grief, that's a lot of power to spend. Tyranids do typically spend a lot of power in tier 1.
Under attack. Our cover is good.
It's generally the current meta, in fact, is to spend a lot of power in team games. Have a strong tier 1. Don't see many players trying to push through to tier 2 with the light tier 1s, but sometimes you see it. Map looking very, very red. They even have this natural wreck point here. And Grey Knights now pushing up this west side very well. Rhino goes down though to a las cannon, tries to drop smoke, but doesn't help it out. We got a Nemesis Force Halberd for the brother captain. A little bit overkill maybe for some guardsmen. Nemesis Vortex, which is pretty awesome. A bit fiddly to use. Gives you an awesome little artillery option though for the brother captain. And the teleporter pack also. Banshees in retreat. Retreat away the Dire Avengers, surely. Has he forgotten about them, Yaay? There they go. They can retreat back to the beacon, which is still there. And Tyranids are finding this pretty tough to crack. We do have a zone throw up for Noisy. I think they need to focus on killing stuff, not rushing through to that beacon. It's in such an awkward place to fight. Such an awkward place. Current guard takes shield wall. There's a capillary power, the Hive Tyrant with his venom cannon being tied up by Banshees, but they do get a crippling poison off through the Termagants to stop them in their tracks. Orta using Skyleap to go back to wherever the heck she goes, so she can drop back down later for a much reduced cost. There is a drop. Spreading the grenades out, trying to get that stun. Doesn't actually hit anything. Oh, hits a single Hormagon there. Now she leaps away to give that buff and heal on landing. Wow. Hormagons get wrecked by a special attack there. 169, 454. Blue team struggling to push through this east side. Is it time for them to push mid? A concerted effort on the mid. They don't even have power here. There's nothing worth defending. Might be time to push mid. Stone Guard veterans on the field for Angry Bird with Hellfire rounds loaded in. They actually want to be using the Vengeance rounds against the Tyrant Guard with its super heavy infantry armor. Use Vengeance versus super heavy and vehicles. Walk Spiders with their aspects. Wow, taking a lot of damage. That was channeling runes on them from the Warlock. Level 3 is. Hive Tyrant is forced off. The Ravener Alpha does have his Corrosive Devourer. Awesome range weapon. Zone throw. In a little bit of trouble there. Massive running engagement. The red team have so much staying power because of that beacon, and blue team also backing off to those brood nests and staying in play. Again, the Termagant's getting a bit too close there, going for the beacon, I believe. Tyrant Guard in shield wall. Do they have the AB to take it down while it's in shield wall? I'm not sure they do. Ouch, a nasty immolate. And the destruct, that was really painful. And blue team struggling on that side. Meanwhile, Riku pushing up west. Vindicator Assassin on the field with the Camelioline stealth suit. Also has the extended operations, giving him 450 health, as you can see. 142, 452. Tyrant Guard is still here. Oh, Manticore Strike from Riku. Manticore Strikes actually do very little damage to static defenses, unless it's the Lord General's beacon, which the Lord General's turret, I should say, which has the vehicle armor. But it is going to kill a bunch of stuff, obviously, around the beacon. 129, 454. Tunnels being a great help to the blue team, allowing them to get back into the field quickly. Right Lance will shoot down the Tyrant Guard though, with the Banshees also weighing in. Even the Librarian is there, almost level 2. Raveners with a Burrow Strike, but they can't save the Tyrant Guard, or can they? Now it's just the Bright Lance doing damage. Can they get the Bright Lance out there? It's not able to out DPS the Tyrant Guard here. But here come the Banshees again. Hellfire round. Stone Guard veterans in the garrison. I believe they cannot change their loaded rounds while they're in there. Banshees chasing the zone throw. Manticore Strike on the east side again. On the garrison, trying to finish off those Stone Guard veterans. It is a good tool to use versus garrisons. Are they going to finish off this Tyrant Guard now? Yes, they do. Bright Lance was enough in the end. 94, 454. Blue team dominating the west side now. It might be time for Riku to just fully triple the east side with everything he's got. Tyranids players really struggling to hang with that beacon, which is now being repaired by the Techmarine. 88, 454. You combine the swiftness and damage of Eldar with the sustainability of a beacon, and it's pretty nasty. Looks like Floid is now pushing mid and caps up the VP. In fact, 88, 453. They have the 2-1, but they are down, way down on VPs to try and catch up. There is still a tunnel here, but the others have been destroyed, as have those double brood nests which were on the east side. Yaay recognises the threat to mid and comes over. Walks on the squad level 2, I should say. Nice borrow strike. Catching the warp spiders off guard. Disrupted some banshees also, but they are immediately forced off. And here comes Floid now. Floid and Noisy all mid, but here are some Terminators from Angry Bird, and those guys should be targeting the Termagants so they can get quick kills and get those inspiration buffs going and stacking up. 88 4 to 5. Floyd's Hive Tyrant almost down, but puts up the warp field, which obviously makes him hugely tanky, especially as he levels up, which increases both his energy pool and his health pool. Has nothing else to spend energy on with this build, which is why it works so well with it. Sometimes I try and combine it with the Bioplasma for that little damage burst and disruption. Warp field is usually the safer and smarter choice though. 86 420, Manticore Strike and a big blob of stuff. This could be nasty. Looks like most everything escapes relatively well. There's a big retreat though from Angry Bird. Librarian now capping. Nope. Backs away. Is level 2, that guy. 75 420. It's a 2-1 for red. Can blue team get back into this? They are massed mid. Big time. We have Assault Kit Stormtroopers also. Nasty grenade could help deter those banshees. We have Strat Squad with Side Cannon. Have Tyrant leading the line. Here are some Grey Knight Terminators though. Getting a Side Cannon wrist mounted. They also have their Live with the Moniker, I believe it's called. That for that. There it is. The Holocaust. Raising G-Stealers in the air. Ouch. Leaving them sitting duck, but those Terminators are taking huge amounts of damage, having to teleport out. Wow, everything was focusing on them. Had G-Stealers there, the Raven Alpha with his Corrosive Devour, the plasma weapon, also the Synapse Aura for damage going on here. Not sure what, does it tell me the range? Radius of 25, so a decent radius on that buff. Some retreats, it's the Ravener Brood and the Inquisitor herself backing out. We might see the Inquisitor get Excruciators to really annoy the Terminators, but looks like Riku is going tier 3 right now. He still has enough to purchase the Excruciators for a sale. A sale into Manticore Strats can be pretty nasty, especially when you have 2 Manticores. Vindicator Assassin getting shots in, needs to be careful though. This is actually counting as cover. He's infiltrated, as you can see. GiDDoLo has very little on the field though, lost both of his Stormtroopers. Side Cannon Strat Squad able to defend with the help of an Immolator, I think, is that? Level 5 Warlock. Blue team with a lot of pressure on the mid, and they've taken it as a capillary tower behind the shot blocking wall. Red team are going to take the east side completely, but sometimes you see this on the gate maps. One team focusing mid and west and leaving the east. It's a bit more risky since you need to rely on holding this power, which is not natural. 21-407, 2-1 cap for the blue team. It's a big ask to come back, but they are getting stuck in. Avatar of Cain with the Wrath of Cain. Is that what it's called? I believe it is. And he's moving in, giving that constant buff to those allied Terminators. That's pretty nasty. Holocaust completely misses everything. What do you focus down here? Do you try and force off that Avatar quickly? Lascan is actually getting shots on the Terminators, not the Avatar, and there's a Wailing Doom, which could wipe out the Lascan. It does live. Manticore backing the hell away. Now everything shoots up the Avatar. Terminator is happy to stand in range stance for a little while. Inquisitor trying to use her Hammer of the Witches, but unable to get close enough. Vindicator Assassin being annoying or infiltrate. What's this? A few Tyranids going east side just to harass. There is another turret here, and the G-Stealers get the decap for the single. Can they get a double or a 2-1? Nobody capping there, trying to finish off this Avatar. There's the Holy Pyre. Banshee's getting absolutely wrecked as they're trying to get into combat there. Look at the ranged DPS. How are they going to get in there? Well-timed grenade might have finished them off. Autuck dropped again. Lots of Autuck usage from Yaay. She's such an awesome sub-commander with that unique entry. Uh-oh, Angry Bird dropping a venerable dreadnought. This is going to be a bit of a problem. Oh, maybe not. Got a las cannon and the venom cannon right there. Might be able to finish it off quickly. In fact, charges out of range of the las cannon and looks like it's going to hobble away. I'm sure they would have liked to have chased it, but they're focused on trying to get this VP right now. Genestealers running away from the Terminators. Actually finished off there, were they? I think they were. He has more Genestealers though. Immolate on the blob of stuff. Doom of Malantai, surely from one of the Tyranid players. Oh, it's only Floid, that's tier 3. Surely he'll get one. Be a great tool against the Avatar and those Terminators. Banshee trying to get in there. Again, forced off immediately. Can the blue team take this VP? Angry Bird seems, a bit reluctant to come mid. Terminator's getting shot down. His Venerable Dreadnought needs repairs. GiDDoLo pushing up the west side, trying to get on rear armor of this Manticore. Might be able to finish it off. As you can see, he's getting close before he starts firing. There it is. And he is going to finish off the Manticore. Nicely done and retreats out. Well played from GiDDoLo. And he's got a lot of resources waiting to drop a Land Raider Crusader, obviously, which could be a nail in the coffin here. Don't have... Oh, Dark Riku does have his rocket run ready, which could be vital to stop attack. Stop a cap, I should say, or just straight up kill a bunch of stuff. There is the Land Raider Crusader. Will take 10 seconds to drop in. And it'll be a massive pain in the arse since it will suppress things from range, stopping them from capping. Here's a Leman Russ. Might get the Vanquisher cannon once he spots this Land Raider. There it is. Dropped in backwards, but it doesn't matter. The Land Raider doesn't have rear armor. Genestealers moving in on the Terminators. Are they? No, going straight after the Devastators. Now they can turn to attack the Stone Guard veterans, who are in a lot of trouble here. Caught in retreat and on the ground. They might wipe. Uh-oh. Wow, one model was further away. That was pretty lucky there. Terminator's Gate of Infinity out of trouble from the Psychic Hood. But look at this melee force of Tyranids. Genestealers are so freaking scary. Level 2 Warrior Brood giving that Synapse and a level 1 Genestealers. What's going on mid? Is that a Singularity? I believe it is, yes. Pulls in the higher tank but nothing else. Avatar might be able to finish him off if he can get 3 hits in. I think he's only going to get 2. I don't think he'll get 2. Look at that. Hive node going up to allow this Ravener Alpha to cap, giving you huge resistances to incoming range damage, though it also debuffs your outgoing range damage. Which is why you don't want to get too close to it when you're trying to shoot it. Grenade Terminator is doing well with their Storm Bolters and Side Cannon. Here comes Angry Bird with a Venerable Dreadnought, which comes back to haunt the blue team. Manticore Strike on the Land Raider. We're not seeing any anti-Terminator stuff for the Inquisitor at the moment. Big engagement mid, a big retreat out from Floid. What happened there? Not sure what prompted that retreat. All of that stuff is pretty healthy. So it's now a little bit thin. Oh, Genestealers with their Rending Claws. Still pretty damn risky to go after a Venerable, though. That thing has 1750 hit points and melee resistance. 21,293 rocket run. A little bit wasted, I think. Lumen Russ, I don't think has any upgrades. Is he waiting? He's trying to get a Baneblade, maybe. 21,286. Does have that other Manticore. If he didn't lose the first one, he'd have 2, and that would be pretty awesome for him. Them sneaky strike squad. Zone Throw being targeted by the Autarch, I believe. Now she turns her attention to Stormtroopers. Were they stuck in a tunnel there? Don't seem to be moving. Oh, now they're moving. 21,265. Constant running battle in the mid. Trying to formation. You see the remains of it. Is that what Floyd retreated away from? It might have been. His ally might have put down a Tron formation and he was right in the middle of it. He's pushing forward quite aggressively, trying to shoot down those Terminators, but they are happy to hang back and just shoot stuff right now. Anything that gets close, of course, they can use Holocaust. Double cap for blue team. Viperism on the way for Yaay. This really is a valiant effort from the blue team. Noisy still in tier 2. No sign of a Doom of Manatite from Floid. Maybe he's waiting for a Carnifex instead. Oh, leaving Russ taking a lot of damage. I don't think he wants to go up the stairs because it would crush that tunnel. But the Hive Tyrant might crush it anyway. 21-225. Stone Guard veterans knocked away. They already have a reinforcement purchased. Manticore strike right near that beacon. This could be nasty, but the Terminators do spot it early. Wrath of Cain from the Avatar of Cain. 21-229. Blue team now focusing the east side. Switching up their play. Red team respond with a Fire Prism. Howling Banshees also moving in. Going after the Zone Thrope, I believe. What level are these ladies now? They're level 4 and they're being buffed by the Avatar, giving them, what is it? It's suppression immunity, I believe, and some other defensive buffs, maybe an offensive buff even. Avatar now in a little bit of trouble. Those are Adrenal Rush Geniuses, but they can't keep up the fight. And in fact, blue team have conceded, unable to get this east side and unable to push mid with that Land Raider Crusader sitting there. But it was a really valiant effort. Massive fights in mid. Trying to formation on their natural there, as you can see there, to stop the Terminators who are actually floating in midair, having been knocked back. Let's look at the commanders at the end of the game. Inquisitor was level 3, had the Holy Brazier. Did not see her get Excruciators for the Terminators. Had another Lehman Russ on the way. Floyd, Hive Tyrant with the familiar Venom Cannon, improved Synapse and Warp Field level 4. Noisy's Ravener Alpha, Crows Devourer Regenerate, and Synapse Aura Regenerate makes him incredibly tanky, level 5. Techmarine level 6 with Signum, with those structures on the east side. Level 7 Warlock Immolator and the Warp Throw, and a level 6 Brother Captain, almost level 7 with Halberd, Vortex, and the Teleporter pack. There you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.